Space Dandy, episode 7. I'm never remembering you, baby. Um, in the actual fashion of this episode, it's hard to really remember anything that happened because nothing was really spectacular. Like, I finished the episode and it was so, like, the tone of it was just so plain and simple that it didn't even feel like it was half an hour. It was just like it flew by, like nothing even happened, just like the episode itself. So, in a sense, it does something weird and actually works by, at least for me, by making me think like it went by so fast. It was one of those episodes where you hardly remember it because not much really happened, but it was once again a good episode though because it was one of the weirder ones. I mean, I think this is probably the weirdest episode. Like the animation, although it's the same, they kind of changed the color palette of it where everything's just like sort of almost black and white for some portions, and like when everyone first loses their memory is when they're actually in the facility where they register the aliens. Everything's just yellow and they're like, what just happened and stuff. But it was a really interesting episode. I thought it was like it started off, they're trying to register this alien. They don't remember what happened. Like they don't remember how they got it. All they know is if you open this box that has this alien in it, then we'll all forget exactly what's happening right now, because it's the type of alien creature that will make you forget. But somehow we remember that it makes you forget. But even though a ton of people have seen it, they don't remember they've seen it. And even though a ton of people have also captured it, they don't remember they've captured it. But somehow we captured it, and we just don't remember how. So, as confusing as that was the opening to this episode, and then everyone just forgets everything anyway. And all the characters, they kind of go through the same. They kind of go through a loop pretty much. And apparently, they've been exploring the galaxy and stuff for 6 months. You find out by the end of this episode with this little um, book where this book is actually like the great librarian of this planet, and she's like a little kid and she wants to explore the galaxy, although she was reading like some weird like just war books because she was like, I wanted to see like devils and incantation dances and like heads on spikes and weird stuff like that. And I thought that was a really funny part of this episode where Q2 is like, what crazy or what creepy books have you been reading? But it was a good episode. It actually had a lot of the Gogol characters in it, or at least they were in it for a long time, more so than any of the other ones, I think, except for maybe the second or third episode when they were kind of going for the ramen because they were chasing them that whole episode. But they were in it, and the main like, where I guess the second in command guy, you find out that he's like a great scientist, and this whole time he's just like writing down this formula for like we don't even know what, and he just can't figure out this final part, and somehow he discovers out this amazing form of knowledge because Dandy wrote like in this little space he just wrote a picture of breast, and somehow that was just amazing knowledge, and somehow that solved the whole formula for him, this little symbol that Dandy drew because there's an open space, so that's what he drew in there. But it was a really weird episode, and like I said, there's not much to bring up for it because not much happened. They ultimately went through this loop, and by the end of the episode, they got a videotape that would pretty much send them into another loop because even though it was a gift from the alien, it wasn't much of a gift because all it does is just wipe your memory all over again. And as the announcer said, they kind of sent the galaxy into this crazy war that no one can really recall because the videotapes and cassettes and all that stuff just kind of wipe people's memories away. But ultimately, it was definitely the weirdest episode to me. It was the tone was very, very, very mellow, but it was still a really good episode. Like it was just an interesting one. Like they had their sort of great war battle where Dandy actually went up against Gogol for once, and that was probably the closest they ever came to any real explanation of you know them confronting each other. And I guess the sort of third in command guy, the little short guy, he was actually taking control, and he called in the fleet and he was attacking Dandy and stuff. But ultimately nothing really happened. But a good episode nonetheless. I'm excited for next week's episode. I'm curious to see what that one's about. But this one, ultimately it just kind of goes full circle, and by the time it ends, just like the characters, you hardly really remember what happened. But If there's something that stuck out to you, then comment below. Let me know your favorite parts or your least favorite parts. And there's not much to ask about this episode because, like I said, it was just a loop of almost nothingness that happened. But I guess, were you guys excited to see the global characters kind of get their time to shine in this episode, so to speak? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.